Howdy doody out there in YouTube land. Y'all should just park your pickup trucks and get them kids off the four-wheelers. Tell them to bring you an ice cold one and join us right now for a little Ready, Set, Drone fun, 'cause it's First Friday and everybody's here to have a good time. I see we got a great group of good old boys in the chat tonight. I see Skeeter, Tater, Possum, Billy, Bobby, Ken, and my brother Brad from Virginia. All in the chat and ready to help us get this party started. Welcome all y'all. Hey, and welcome to our lady friend too. I know there's probably only one, but thanks for being here. It is First Friday and it's time to get started, so let me introduce your host, the man with the plan, the guy who can fly, the dude who's rarely rude, Kelly Shores. Yeah!
Have you ever noticed that that character's mouth is completely transparent? You can see everything behind it. I just noticed that for the first time. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here. I want to give quick shout-outs to a whole bunch of people. Barkley, 107 Drones, Chris Hope, Dennis Lovelady, Michael Wright is in the house, Ray Kelly's in the house, Chris Wedgeworth is in the house, John Coopy's in the house, Maddie's Drone World, Ray Kelly. I'll be seeing those guys pretty soon at the meetup. I know a lot of people are going to that meetup. As a matter of fact, if you're going to the South Florida meetup, say so in the chat because I'd love to know. We got Geeks Vana, Sean. I'll also be seeing him hopefully next week. I am going to London and hoping to meet up with him. Definitely catch up and have a pub lunch is what he suggested. That's a very English-sounding thing, a pub lunch. Although lunch is kind of an American-sounding thing. What would they call it? Would they call that dinner? Sean, what would they call it? By the way, I don't know if you guys heard that Sean from Geeks Fauna was on Ken Heron's radio show a week or so ago. I got a link to that, and it's really, really a great little bit. They're talking about English, the way that English talk about distances and measurements, units of measurement, and because they're kind of split between the metric system and the English system because they are English. So it's if you get a chance, I think it's on Ken Heron's channel, or maybe it's on his members channel if you're a member over there. And by the way, hey, Thomas Ariels, good to see you, man. It's been a little while. Sergio, thanks for joining. I see more people popping in right now. Fly Zone Drones in the house. Lambo Drive Zambo. That is definitely somebody that I want to meet in person because I want to ride on a Zamboni, or at the very least fly a drone in that hockey rink because that looks pretty amazing. Those of you who didn't see it, I did try to skid a drone on some ice frozen up in Colorado and was kind of sort of successful. Ended up doing it on a puddle instead of on the main pond because the pond wasn't very smooth and the thing was kind of bumping around. But it's one of those things. Hey, what's up, Flesh FPV? What's up with you? It's one of those things that I think would be really cool to do on a skating rink, especially after the Zamboni had driven through and kind of put all of its smoothness onto it. But tonight, we're going to talk a little bit. Hey, by the way, I see, I think I said a shout out to Dennis Lovelady, Mike B, and Jack Rabbit FPV. Tonight, we're going to have Ed Ricker and Sean Oz on the show. Now, I had the opportunity to go up and spend a couple of days with them in Colorado, snowboarding and drone flying. That's pretty much all we did. Ate and slept and snowboarded and drone flew. And so that's a great weekend for me, right? Sean lives in Dillon, Colorado, which is a really beautiful town up in the mountains at like 8,000 feet of elevation. And we had some pretty awesome conditions for snowboarding, first of all, and then some really awesome conditions for drone flying, although it was really cold. And Ed had some nice tricks in his arsenal to keep the batteries warm, and we're going to talk about that when he comes on in a little bit. For those of you who don't know, Ed Ricker is a really accomplished drone pilot, drone builder, musician, and all-around great guy. And Sean, of course, is Sean Oz, World of Oz, snowboarder extraordinaire. But what I wanted to talk about a little bit first, I wanted to share a couple of videos with you. You may have already seen some of this because we made a short out of it, but I wanted to show you sort of the extended version. So we had a meetup down at the park near Canyon Lake where we like to fly with Kai and his friends and the San Antonio folks down there, Yellow Rose drones. Lee often comes out there and meets us. Chris Hope and some other folks have driven in. Doc Murdoch has driven in all the way from other places to meet up there. Really, really great place to fly. Very big place to fly. And as you guys might know, Kai, who is Lone Star UAV, he loves flying fixed wings. He likes to fly FPV fixed wings. Well, he has a ZMO fixed wing. It's a very cool VTOL. It takes off with the propellers flipped upwards, flies up, and then they flip forward, and it flies like a fixed wing. And then I have this one called the Swan, and it's quite honestly not very good. But we were going to do a little comparison. The Swan is like $1,000. It was sent to me to review. I did a review of it like a year and a half ago. It's just been sitting in my garage. And we got it out, and we decided to fly it. And let me share with you guys what happened when we did that. We'll take a look at the video now. Okay. I hope you're filming, because this is going to be epic. Oh, goodness.
Let's see how impact resistant this thing is.
Yeah.
We still have 4 good motors.
Got 4 good motors. Oh, dude. Yeah, so as this turns, it should be tightening it, right? Isn't that the theory with these spin-on?
Well, if you put them in the right on the right block.
But it wouldn't
yes.
have taken off if it would have pushed down in the ground if I had them backwards, right?
No, it still would have gone up. Just
it only goes together one way.
We're still missing.
Yeah, we're missing a prop. It's right over there. Oh, okay. Well, I think we can fairly say which is better. All right. So if you saw the short, you didn't see all of that. But, nobody's ever really accused Kai of being an optimist. But I have to say his reaction to the crash was less he gave me less of a hard time than I was expecting, even though I certainly deserved it. Yeah, spin-off. Lambo says spin-off. That's actually really true. I don't know what happened. If anybody owned the Phantom, I think it was the Phantom 1 and 2, the props actually spun on. They were threaded, and they were threaded in such a way that when they rotated, when they actually took off, it was supposed to tighten them, and then they would get tighter as they spun. And then when you were ready to take them off, you had to go against the opposite direction. So if it was a clockwise spinner, you turned it counterclockwise. That was the same theory on this thing, but they flew off. The thing broke. Kai's going to try and make something else out of it, I think. He's really good at fixing things. I do have to say we had a drone that was having some problems, and he was leaving on vacation to go down to the coast, and we got him on a Zoom call, and he was able to figure out what was going on over the Zoom call. Incredibly, there were 2 wires that were crossed. It was just one of those things that I would have never guessed, but I held the thing up to the webcam and he's looking at it and he's like, oh yeah, you got your brown and your yellow wire should be opposite. And so we were able to pull one out, pull the other one out, flip them in places, and then everything worked perfectly. So, despite his handsome good looks, Kai is also very smart. So if you ever need drone help, he might be a good guy to hit up. Hey, I see my brother Brad from Virginia. Want to say hello to him. I see Dizzy Dean FPV in the house. Thanks for joining. Coast to Coast Drones, and I think I saw Marcus in there a little while ago. Idaho Quadcopters. Awesome to see you. Thanks for joining. So, in addition to crashing VTOLs, the other thing that we've been up to recently, Chris and I actually got hired by a luxury home builder and had the opportunity to do a fly-through of a luxury home. Now, a couple of things. I want you guys to watch this and remember that this is Austin, Texas, and that I'm not saying that hopefully in a braggadocious way. I'm just saying that this place is insanely popular with people moving in right now, Californians and people from all over the place. And so the cost of homes has gone way, way up. So at the end of this video, after you've seen it, I want you to tell me how much you think this house is selling for, how much the builder is asking for this house. Now, it's not necessarily how much they'll get for it. Also knowing that the house is in kind of, I mean, it's a great neighborhood in that it's close to downtown, but it's near the freeway, and there's like some not so great apartments near it, and nothing wrong with these apartments. They're just not, it's not what you expect for the price of this house. So, Chris, can we play that and leave the audio down and let me just talk over it? So, haven't done. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna crack my Dr. Pepper as part of the experience here. I have only done a handful of fly-throughs of different things. So in this case, we were using the Avata, and we were flying it out. So you can kind of see all the power lines, and there's the apartments over there. And then the house is the one with the brown wood on it down in the lower right. So this is kind of the starting point of the video where we're going to start it. We haven't edited this. This is just raw footage. And by the way, this is in Horizon Steady on the Avata. We did try doing this also with a O3 unit and running that on a different drone and running that O3 unit through Hypersmooth to see if, not Hypersmooth, what? Gyroflow, sorry, to see if it looks any better. But yeah, coming around here, we've got the dining area, very nice high-end kitchen. I will say that when you're in Horizon Steady mode, that yaw, if you don't do the yaw exactly right, it kind of looks a little wonky. My intent with this video, of course, is to add some music to it and do some speed ramps so that some of these things that are a little more awkward kind of get covered up in the speed ramp. But yeah, it's a 2-story house. I think it's got 5 bedrooms, 3 or 4 bathrooms, has this nice little study up here in the front. And I have to say, love it or hate it, the Avata's range for video penetration is just so good, just so clear. We were sitting in a bedroom, and we're kind of, obviously walls and ceilings and all kinds of material between us and the drone, and it just was perfectly crystal clear video coming through the whole time, and control too. So, nice sized backyard here. There's a couple of other houses, of course, that have been torn down. These were all kind of older 1940s and 50s bungalow style houses in this neighborhood. And then this builder is buying them, knocking them down, and then putting these monstrosities in. And I shouldn't say monstrosities. It's a beautiful house. Don't get me wrong. It's just definitely on the high end. I see a couple of guesses, 1.4 million, 3.2. Ray Kelly says 1.5. Texas architecture guy, I was expecting a good guess from him. He says, Michael Wright says 2.3 million. Coast to Coast Drone says 3.2. Jerry Bauer says 1.8. Ray Kelly says 1.5. I'm going to tell you guys, Mike B said 1.4 million. So there it is. A turnaround, little spin around here so you can actually see the house. And this is where the graphic will go. And again, I think some music and some speed ramps on this and maybe a little bit more stabilization is going to make it really good. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys, Dizzy Dean says $801,000. Maddie's Drone World, you are the closest. It is $4.2 million house. This is, I walked up to it and there's Chris's legs. And here I think I did a little ripping around here just for fun after trying to get the battery down to, pull it out and replace it. But yeah, I walked up to this house and asked, I said, what is this, about $2 million? Just knowing that it was Austin and things are pretty expensive. And he said, no, $50. No, It's $4.2 million is what they're asking for that house. So kind of some insanity in the housing market at the moment. And then right now, Ray Kelly says your video will sell it. You know, here's the thing too. Hey, what's up, Scott? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. The thing also about this that's kind of interesting, and I've tried to get this deal. The very first time I ever saw a drone was actually on a 50-acre plot of land on Lake Travis, and this guy was selling it, and I happened to know his daughters from Houston, where we grew up. I'd known his family for a long time, and he said, hey, you guys make videos. Can you make a video? And we got a drone guy out. It was the first time I ever saw a drone. It was a homemade drone using Fat Shark goggles, analog goggles, to be able to get perspective. There was no video transmission, and he had a Sony camera strapped to it with a gimbal. Got some beautiful footage, but I tried to negotiate with that guy to tell him I wanted a percentage of the house. Not it's like, all right, you don't have to pay me anything, but when this property sells, 50 acres on Lake Travis, and there were actually 2 houses on the property. They were splitting it into 4 lots. I said, I'll take 1% of whatever you sell this for. He wasn't going for it. So anyway, kind of amazing what is going on right now in the real estate market. But that's great for drone pilots, right? Because like this Paradisa, that's the name of the company that hired us to do that drone fly through. That's our second video we've done for them. They've got an even bigger house that they're building that's going to be done at the end of the summer that we're going to do a fly through for. And I'm super excited about that because it's actually 4 floors, 4 stories. And so it's got a lot of elevation change. And I think when you're doing a fly through, that's really what makes it look cool, is when you can go off the balcony and down to the pool, or, kind of, up the stairs was a little difficult and awkward, but it's really that ability to showcase vertically going up and down, and then going through gaps. Like when that happens, then it wasn't a person just walking with a gimbal or something. So anyway, all of that said, it was a lot of fun to do that. Definitely a new experience for me, and I'm hoping to get to do more. They seem real happy with our work. Of course, Chris, was key point on everything, had us all organized and following all those safety protocols and laws and everything else. So it's part of what you got to do if you're going to do this. And now Chris is running around over there, getting everything ready for our guests to hopefully come in. We haven't seen Sean or Ed yet, but they both texted me and said they were on their way to join us. Now, for those of you that don't know Ed Ricker, he does do a lot of FPV flying. And he was probably, as a matter of fact, I know he was live streaming his fixed wing, FPV fixed wing. He flies those big triangular wing kind of things and was out flying those a little while ago. Hey, so real quick, I know Ray Kelly, and I know Maddie, and I know Michael Wright. Who else is going to the meetup in South Florida? Anybody? I saw that Dennis Lovelady is going to play some music. That's awesome. I am hoping I can get Dennis Lovelady to play some more music at Spin Up in the fall, which I don't have a date for yet. I will next time for sure. I know I've been saying that. Just got to find just the right place for it. But October, November, or early December is when that will happen. But Dennis Lovelady is in high demand as far as playing. Yes, I see that he's going. And Brad's going too. Awesome. I thought you were, but that confirms it. That's awesome. I look forward to seeing you. And of course, Brad's on the committee. Well, there you go. I hope I don't get blacklisted from the from the event. 109. 107 Drone says 109 other people going. So wow. Lee from Yellow Rose is going. Marcus is going. Awesome. Let's see. Brant Ariels is going. Sweet. That's great. That's great. I'm super stoked. It will be nice to fly in Florida too, because it's a little change of pace as far as the way things look and stuff like that. So I know while we're waiting for Sean and Ed to come in, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my trip to Colorado. I spent a few days up there with them, snowboarding, as well as Drone flying, as I said, couldn't have been better, right? The two things I really love doing, and both those guys love doing it too. I often say to Chris or other people, Scott Richardson, who's in the chat, I think, people around here, when I get to go out and fly with them, I'm like, man, I'm so happy that I have people to go fly with, because it's so much more fun when you have friends that you go out and do it with, and you do chases and you help each other fix your drones and crash together and all that sort of thing. So looking forward to a lot of that in Florida. Now, speaking of the trip to Colorado, I did want to, Chris, are you able to roll that video?
Yeah.
The
Display, but yeah, I can play
the Snowboard 360. Yeah. So this was something that Sean taught me. So if any of you watch World of Oz, if you don't, I think it's linked. I used his @SeanOz thing. You can click there and go there. He has all this great content for snowboarding, especially with a 360 camera. He uses the GoPro Max and he uses the Insta360 X3, which is what I was using here. But what he told me, it really made sense, and this is kind of true of drone flying too, is if you hold the camera down low, it makes you look like you're going faster. So I'm not really going all that fast right here. You'll see Sean go blowing past me in a few seconds, but it looks like I'm going fast, right? That's kind of the key, is if you hold the camera down there close to the bottom, it makes it look like you're going fast. Chris, is there anything I can do to help?
So yeah, I'm just having a problem with this display. It's extended and I can't see over there. Both Sean and Ed are here.
Oh, okay.
Some technical difficulty.
We're having some technical difficulty.
Admit them if you want.
Yeah. Are you able to bring them in though, even though it's extended display?
I think so, but it's gonna be rough.
Can you duplicate display on that computer?
That's what I was trying to do, and then it freaked out. So.
Oh, well, I see Ed.
Yeah.
There's Ed.
Sean is here too.
Okay, we're trying to get his computer working.
So yeah, you should be able to hear.
Ed, can you talk?
Okay.
Hey, hello, testing 1 2.
Hey, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Right on. Now, can you see me?
I can see you. I don't think you're up on the screen yet, but yeah, if you want to
Okay.
flip over, Chris, are you able to bring up? There we go. We see you
Hello.
twice. All right. Well, Chris is working on Sean's display, but Ed, good to see you again, man. I think last time I saw you, you were hopping out of the car at the airport. We were
Trying to catch a flight, and
we were both trying to catch a flight, and
Well,
we stopped to fly at that little frozen river. Or frozen lake? Did you ever get a chance to see that video?
I did. I didn't notice you had posted it until a little while after, but I saw it. It was a good time. It's actually kind of funny that I kept clearing my throat a little bit and coughing here and there, and that actually turned into COVID.
Right.
So I know I gave it to Sean. Did I give it to you, Kelly?
No, I tested myself, and I never had it. Yeah, because you had texted me and said, or called me and said you had tested positive, and I felt fine the whole time. Tested myself right when you called me and was negative, and so. But I had also just had a booster. I had a booster in December. I wonder if that maybe helped. Plus,
maybe. I can't remember last time I got my booster, but yeah, I remember I started getting those chills, and so I did a test, and I took a second test because I'm like, I have to work the next day. It has to be for real.
Yeah.
And I had 2 positive tests, and then from there I thought, okay, be responsible, Ed. Call Kelly, call Sean. Neither of you picked up. You're probably asleep. That's fine. But I thought at least I'll let you know as soon as possible so you can stop infecting people yourself.
Yeah.
If you had any concern. But it looks like you're okay. So I'm glad.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry that you got it, but I'm really glad that it waited until we were done, kind of, right? Because, I mean, you were doing great on the board. It was your third time to snowboard?
4th outing, I guess probably 6th, maybe 5th or 6th time down the slopes. But yeah, we had a good time. I feel like I was doing pretty good. I'm glad you guys had fun and you went off on your own because you're more intermediate. I don't think I'm a beginner anymore, but I'm still novice. And I do think that there's a differentiation between the two. beginner would be like, when you first saw me.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
2020.
when you were on the bunny slope.
Now I'm actually able to at least stay up, not crash,
Yep.
do some stuff. And so, yeah, I'm still a novice, but I'm getting around. And
Yeah.
it was a good time. I do appreciate Sean for inviting us.
Letting us stay at his
that was
house.
my 4th time with Sean. Yeah, it was awesome. It made it an affordable trip, and it was cool just to hang out together.
Agreed. No, that was such a good
he's in
time.
here, right?
Yeah,
I
Sean's
see him.
Sean's in. The problem we're running into is we're using a separate laptop so we can make you guys full screen, and the laptop that Sean is on is having some difficulty. Is that anything? You making any progress, Chris? Okay, Chris says he's making slow progress. So, Ed, while I got you here, what? Oh no, I see Sean's space there. There he is.
Yeah, he's moving around.
Yeah, so
He's setting some things up.
So Ed, what were you out doing today?
This right here. You want to see it?
Yeah. Let's see it. That kind of looks like a World War II plane or something. Oh no, I guess it's more of a
T-wing T1 Ranger.
Yeah.
And this is a really easy aircraft for someone who's just getting into fixed wings to build now, or to use. Now, I saw your VTOL crash just a few minutes ago, and I felt for you. This is made of the same foam.
Yeah.
And I've actually ripped certain parts of the wing off and just basically hot glued it back together. The foam here reacts, really well to hot glue.
Okay.
So putting this together with hot glue and stuff like that really works. This, to be honest, all of this is now hot glue. And it's holding together pretty well. I would like to power it on for you if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's hear
That's
it.
when the magic happens.
What do you have
this out.
Hey Sean.
Is he there?
We can't
I'm going to power this on.
We can't hear you, Sean. Oh, look at
Ooh,
that.
look at
Dang. Is that how it comes?
Yeah. No. So we buy these separately. These are fly high FPV LEDs.
Okay.
And you can search for them. They're pretty affordable. They're string. So you basically tape them on. And then from there, I put packaging tape over it to make sure that they stay on. And yeah, they're pretty sweet. I love how these look. And our whole idea is we're getting a bunch of them together, like 6 or 7 of these up at once, getting chased by an FPV quad, and that's going to be an epic video coming out at some point.
Wow.
The whole idea is we're getting different colors. So I'm pink, we got blue, we got green, yellow, orange, everything.
Almost like smoke
bombs. It's going to be a pretty
bombs.
epic video. Yeah, exactly. I thought that's so cool. Like we're kind of doing different types of chasing, but still with FPV, but with colors and movement and all that. So that's what I'm really excited about. I crashed right before I got here to be on your stream.
Wait,
so
why is it showing everything all of a sudden?
moment.
Okay, cool.
Hi, Sean.
We hear you now, Sean.
Yeah, I think I got it all sorted.
Nice. You look good.
Very good.
Well, thank you.
Hello.
Hey, if
Hello.
anybody hasn't
It's been a while
noticed,
since I've done live anything, so nothing was hooked up.
if anybody hasn't noticed, Sean's lost some weight. Is that right, Sean? Did you lose some weight?
About 55 pounds.
And how many times did you tell us that during the trip?
Oh, God. I made sure to tell you every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that. I'm not as proud that I lost it as the fact that I've held it off for over a year now.
Dude, you were
That's
ripping it on the boards.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
It really, really makes a huge difference.
So
I'll tell you what, I got a little thicker since I first snowboarded, so I couldn't necessarily lean forward to get on my board. I now have to lay on my stomach and then stand up. But the extra insulation helped us out. At least
it keeps you warmer, and Ed, it makes you go down the hill faster because more weight, gravity. It pulls harder on big guys like us.
That is right.
Now, Kelly, why can't I see you in this little thing?
Oh, what do you see?
I can't see you either, but I'm just imagining.
Oh, you can't. Okay.
Oh,
neither
you
of us
can't
can see.
You can't see me. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. It's
I hear your smile through your voice.
Can you hear me smiling? No, it's we're trying. Chris is running this all by himself. Sometimes we have other help in here, and so he's doing a lot. So, but can you see Ed?
I see Ed. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't see Chris, and I can't see you.
Okay.
Basically, I just switched back to the live stream, and I'm able to watch it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the live stream with the audio off, and so it's delayed, of course, on the live stream, but
you can at least see what we look like.
I can see your smiley face over there with your Dr. Pepper.
So
texy.
That's right, man. So did you see Ed's?
There he is. He's there now.
Did you see Ed's quad or Ed's fixed wing with the lights on?
No, I had.
Will you turn the lights back on real quick, Ed? Check this out.
This is just for you, Sean. Look at this.
Oh, it's like Tron.
It is like Tron. Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't that awesome?
You got a broken light. Why isn't that going on the other side of your tail?
Oh,
I had a pretty significant crash right before I got here, but the one side's on.
Yeah,
so that's what it should look
sick.
like. Yeah, I got taken out a couple times. So we've been working on doing chasing sessions, and somewhere here, if I were to examine it, is probably there it is, a prop strike.
Oh yeah,
from
so
being taken out
it broke
by
the
a
tape.
quad. So
nice.
Yeah, so I mean that just happens, but also when we're talking about trying to get multiples of these up, they get affected by each other's prop wash. So the person in front is having a grand old time.
Right.
But everyone behind them, if you have multiples of these going up at once, they're getting bounced around so much. So we kind of have to take that into consideration if we want to put up more than one. Sean, like I was saying, we're trying to get multiple colors up at once and get an awesome chase session, not dissimilar from your snowboarding video that we've been working on.
Yeah.
What kind of camera comes in that? Or did you put your own in it when you built it?
It's a Caddx Vista with a polar camera. You can add a Caddx what do you call it, Go 2 or like a Peanut or something, one of those small cameras off the front if you wanted to. I just put the Vista there just to make it nice and cool and keep it cool in flight.
So it doesn't have any foam on top of it, so it gets airflow. The Vista.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Now you could put it in there. I feel like getting some nice airflow might help it, but it's also been ejected a few times in crashes, and you give or take a little bit, but it's a fun aircraft, especially after dark. Today I'd say we had some wind gusts that would have made it really hard to fly. But if you wait until after the sun goes down, the wind goes down, you get to like 1, 2, 3 mile an hour wind, and that's where this thing shines.
Oh man. Yeah, and so your point about getting multiple colors up, you mentioned pink, blue, purple, all that sort of thing. Very, very similar to what we did. So, Sean, how much can we talk about your video? Can we talk a bit about it? I mean, I know it's not ready yet.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I have been so busy with work. I have been overwhelmed looking at all the footage.
Well, let me just set the stage.
It's a lot of footage.
Let me set the stage, and then you kind of add the details. But Sean had several really, really competent, good snowboarders meet up with us at Loveland Pass, up near Loveland Pass, and they went through fresh powder. Ed flew FPV chasing them, and I'm sure that chase footage just looks amazing. And then I got to fly the Mavic 3 doing kind of the bigger, wider shots, and these guys went down 4 or 5 times down this. It's not even part of the ski area. This is just a place where you hike up and then you go down. And then they had a buddy who had a truck and drove them up. We were out there for 3-4 hours.
Oh, easy.
So and not only that was after a half day of snowboarding. So we went to Keystone, we snowboarded the day before, half day the next day, went and grabbed lunch at Subway, and then met up with all his buddies. And I gotta say, first of all, Sean, the boarding, you guys are next level, for people who live in Colorado. But then Ed I was so impressed that you had those battery packs that you were keeping them warm. He had battery warmers. He had a charger set up in the back of Sean's car. We were doing everything on the bed of his truck. It was just like this little operation. I mean, Sean, you were gone for a lot of it because you were actually riding. But we had the phones going. At one point, a lot of people, I guess it's a touristy area because a lot of people go up there because it's basically the Continental Divide, right? Sean, at one point, he had probably 20 people watching, and you know what they said it was? You guys know what it was. They thought it was
transgender.
They thought it was a gender reveal.
Oh, well, no, just a baby reveal.
Just a baby reveal. Yeah, no, they thought it was like pink for girl, blue for boy kind of thing, because you had all those smoke.
It was
bombs.
when you were going down with just the one, and you had like the red, and then the woman's like, "Oh my God, it's a gender reveal!" And then we're like, "No, it's not actually." Thanks.
Oh, I do regret that we did. I wish we would have just done 3 people instead of 5, because I finished editing all the 360 footage, and I don't think I sent you that clip, but I did send you some clips. I don't know if you downloaded them, Kelly, of the 360.
Yeah,
edited.
yeah. No, I saw it. Yeah, it's awesome.
I think they just got to you like while I was at work today. But With 3 people, it was so much easier to talk to them, keep them close together, ride slower. Then whenever we got 5, then people were starting to do their own thing. It became such a pain in the butt. At that point.
And that's why the 360 camera is so nice, right? Because you are able to get people in frame, but the problem is they got too far away. You wanted everybody in a tight formation.
I did. And with the 3-shot, which I'll probably put a video of just that separately, but that was, if you look at my Instagram, or actually, I think I just posted it on my YouTube Shorts too. We're so much closer together, and the 360 camera just works so much better like that.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I was thinking I wish we did different was I wish we would have kept 2 to 4 smoke bombs and just sort of had them set up. We pull them, set them down, and we just walk slowly through the smoke like in slow motion.
Like for the intro.
Really collected, because that'd be cool. Yeah, because when we're riding, it just became such a thin stream. I was actually talking to Chris because he was saying he wanted to put a smoke bomb on his drone.
Yeah.
I was like, well, the speed you'll go on your drone, you'll just have this tiny little stream. It won't really be that impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of drone you're flying, right? If it's something fast, but if you were going kind of slow with like a camera drone, think about those jets, like the jets at air shows when they throw that smoke on. That must have so much smoke coming out.
A lot more smoke.
Yeah. No,
so
these
much smoke.
These were like these were about the size of a soda can, right? The smoke bombs were about that size.
Yep, they burned for about 90 seconds.
Ed, was there anything you would do different after that shooting day?
Well, it was difficult because everyone, the way that we had it, and Sean, I don't know how you're going to edit it. Maybe you're going to edit around it and make it not even noticeable, but you did get to a point where everyone got stuck, So there was a point where just the way that the terrain was, everyone started slowing down at a certain point. Now, I will say from a drone operator's perspective, that was great because you actually did get into a clump, and I was able to get a couple cool shots before you actually slow down all the way to a stop. But when you're going fast down the mountain, the mountain, the smoke really got thin. That's just how it is, you can't really do anything else with that except when you had the solo runs where you're able to go up a little higher onto the edge of the mountain, slow down, almost come to a crawl, paint some of that. I shouldn't be
no, it's fine.
In your thunder there, Sean.
No, it's fine. It's,
some of the things that you were able to do.
It's taken me so much longer to edit than I thought it was going to, so we might as well.
Well, it's an epic undertaking, man. I mean, I gotta say, for you to pull that off, you said you had been talking about it for like a year or 6 months at least. So
I've wanted to do it for a long time.
To get everybody there,
we're talking about getting FPV shots. Even a year or two ago, you were trying to get some snowboarders out there, and it seems like not only is it difficult to have good weather, which we had great weather, it's also difficult to get that many people out in one spot doing the same thing for multiple hours. Congrats to Sean for being able to orchestrate that, which was an undertaking for sure.
Yeah, it was. It was an experience. It was the weather. I mean, from the whole trip, the weather was perfect.
We had awesome.
Guys. And it snowed the night before you snowboarded, so you got a little bit of fresh, not a ton, but enough for you guys to enjoy it. And then when we spent another day doing nothing, and then we had the perfect weather for the shoot. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a nicer weather for that day.
Yeah, I mean, it was cold, but it's really funny too. After being there a couple of days, Sean, where during the day it was like 9 degrees. And then at night it was getting down to like 4-6 degrees, something like that. Now in Texas, when it gets down to like 43 or 38, everybody's like, "Oh, it's so cold." And I'm like, "No, it's really not." It almost recalibrates your tolerance for cold when you spend some time in really cold weather. Just like when you came down to Texas to visit your dad, and we shot those videos a couple of years ago, and you were like, "God, it's so hot," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's hot, but it's not really that bad." It's weird how your internal temperature kind of gets recalibrated that way.
Well, with Texas and Florida is the same way. On a 30-something degree day, right? It's usually because the cold front's rolling in.
Yep.
It's humid, it's overcast, it's wet, and that humidity is just bone-chilling cold at that temperature. The other day it was 17 degrees. I was outside doing some yard work, which means moving snow around.
Right.
And it was so hot that I took my hoodie off and I was just in a t-shirt in 17-degree weather, sweating my ass off.
Wow. Yeah, but there's no humidity. So you're not getting any of that.
Well, and I'll say we were up there leveling pass, and back in 2020, last time we were all together, I remember it was so windy, so crazy. It was -2 degrees, I think, and the wind was just absolutely insane.
Trying to fly a mini.
And yeah, and it was, and so then the next time, just about a month and less than a month ago, I was up there. I brought gloves. I actually trained myself to fly with gloves on with FPV. I gave that some test runs here in North Carolina before the trip, and then realized while I was up there, even though it was like 22 degrees, because there was no wind, because the sun was shining, because it's low humidity, I didn't even wear gloves. And I was flying up there for multiple hours, like you had mentioned. We're up there almost 4 hours, didn't even put on gloves. It's pretty crazy how you can acclimate. Plus, I realized that the more time I spend in cold, the more I acclimate. So my hands might complain around 30 minutes in, but by an hour in, my hands are like, oh, we're not going back inside? Fine, we'll stop complaining.
Right.
I don't feel them anymore. I don't go numb. I still have dexterity, but I no longer feel the cold so much.
Yeah, and it's interesting because even going down to Denver, there'll be days here where it's the same exact temperature, and I go down to Denver, it's the same temperature, but it feels so much colder in Denver because their humidity levels are higher because they're so much lower to the
4,000 feet lower. Yeah. So hey, Chris, can you roll that? Well, first of all, I just want to show you the Lucas crash video. Can I show that? This is Sean's buddy. You saw this, right? So I was trying to chase Sean and a couple of his friends in the terrain park. I was not doing very well to keep up with them, but you'll see here, this is the beauty of the 360 camera. So I'm riding along. I have no idea this guy's even behind me where he's at. And then all of a sudden, boom, he goes down, and he was okay. Wow. We ended up hanging out later, went to dinner that night, and he actually sang. He's like a great singer, and he sang some songs for us that night. That was sort of almost like spiritual. But man, that 360 camera, when he went down, I wasn't looking at him, and then I heard him crash, and I turned my head, saw him down there, and then I went back to the footage. And the cool thing with a 360 camera is you just rotate around, and I'm like, whoa, that was pretty epic crash. He's okay, right? You've seen him since then?
Can't really miss a shot.
Yeah, he's fine. I haven't seen him since then, but he's fine as far as I know.
Okay, yeah. And then we did another cool thing. Let's go back to the Rocket Woods video. So the first day we were there, Sean took us out to this spot. And if anybody came to, this is the back of Sean's truck, and there's my hobo gloves. I highly recommend the hobo gloves because you can see, Ed, you can take the fingers out when you need to, but your hand's still warm.
I like it.
So this is a spot that we went to during spin down, and it looks totally different because it's covered in snow. But this is me flying the little Gep RC rocket, and we're having some fun flying through these trees. I kind of bumping on stuff, and this was our very first time out flying. But I did not realize until this trip how badly cold weather zaps your batteries, because my batteries were lasting way, way shorter. And then, if you lose the drone over in that, you can't go over there really, because that snow is deep.
You can, but it's going to be an adventure. That's going to be the video. Just trying to fly.
Yeah. Do you remember, Sean, when I crashed the last flight and it was on the other side and I was trying to get it and I kept post-holing and you were like, let me show you how to do it. And you just like scampered over there like Spider-Man and grabbed it. And I'm like, how did you do that? I guess walking on snow is one of those things you got to practice.
You learn where other people have walked and it packs it down. You look for those spots to not sink.
Yeah. And ultimately also weighing less probably helps. Having the right kind of boots on.
Oh yeah, I definitely the bad side about losing the weight is I get colder at a higher temperature now. So I definitely get colder than I used to.
Don't have the insulation you used to have. Well, this spot,
I do not have that blubber.
If you ever go visit Sean, he will take you out because this is just an awesome spot to fly. Just kind of this little park area. I don't know, what is that, like a national forest or something? What is it?
Yeah, I guess it would be considered a national forest. Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe it's illegal, but we were.
No, you can fly in national forest. You can't fly in national parks.
Okay,
that's the difference.
All right. Well, yeah, great.
Unless it has what is it called? There's no motorized vehicle sign or something, then I forget what they call that, but yeah, you're not supposed to fly in those either because they considered a drone a motorized vehicle.
Yeah,
it was so funny. I was just taking a run in a state park the other day. Of course, state parks you can't fly a drone in, or at least you can't take off or land. But the whole idea is to not disturb things, to preserve the natural beauty, to disturb the wild. Well, this big, huge military helicopter goes right overhead. And I'm thinking, okay, he can do that. It's like that's so much worse than a Mavic or something.
It's pretty ass backwards, you guys. Like if you think about it, because some of the places that you would think they'd want us to show are national parks and some of the like really gorgeous natural things out there, and that's what drones really are great for. To kill that whole vibe that we get, that people are like, oh, can you spy on your neighbor? Like let's show what they're really for, right?
Yeah, yeah, and ultimately, I mean, if you get something like even most camera drones are so quiet now, with the Mini and that, but I also wanted to show real quick the Lake Dillon footage. So this was also, I mean, we did so many epic things in like 3 days. It was a very short trip, but chasing you guys out on this frozen lake was so much fun. My only kind of regret was I didn't have a better camera on my drone, because this is just in the air unit. This is the GEP RC Rocket. But you'll see here in a second, I get both of you guys get in front of me. Yeah, there we go. And we're just cruising along. And this whole thing is water most of the year, right? It's just for a few months, it's ice. Oh, yeah. And I think you can walk across the whole thing, right? You could walk out to that island.
You definitely could walk across it right now.
Yeah.
100% walk across it right now. I actually posted the video of us goofing off, and it's almost like you're just hanging out with us flying. The only sad part is I couldn't find Ed's footage. I don't know if I remember to grab his clips, so it's just your footage and my footage. Okay. And every now and then you see Ed buzz by us.
Right. Yeah, Ed was flying a 5S freestyle quad, and just kind of and Sean was flying the Avata, and I was flying the Rocket. And the other nice thing is we didn't have any interference, really. I mean, as far as the three of us were able to fly quite a ways off. And it's also nice because it's just a clear line of sight. There's nothing really blocking you when you're flying over a frozen lake, right? Oh, that was Ed dropping down there a second ago. But yeah, this was a blast. Hold on, let's see. We'll get back to the part here. I think I did a little orbit around all of us. I do remember getting kind of cold. I think, Sean, you were sitting down here. I think you like to fly sitting down. And you said your butt got cold.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm sitting on the snow.
You're basically sitting in ice.
What was interesting is
go ahead.
Was how good the Avata signal was. You guys got to a point that you were like, can't go any further, and I was like, full bar still. Oh, I can't keep going.
Yeah, there were a couple of points where I had to turn back, and I do remember getting cold, but I think also we were there just as the sun was going down. You can see it's still kind of peeking behind the mountains, but as soon as the sun left that area where we're standing, it did get pretty cold. It's also pretty windy that day. But yeah, I do have some footage I should edit together. See, I didn't really edit vlog style, so I have no narrative to this. It's just a bunch of flight footage, but I could put it up. It's just a matter of
that's kind of why
finding it.
Kind of why I'm showing it on the live stream. It's like, I didn't. It wasn't really vlog style. It was just, hey, this is kind of cool, and somebody needs to see it, right? And it was such a fun experience.
I did capture it. It's like you're there with us, joking around, even at the end when I'm throwing the camera up, trying to get it to land in the snow.
Yeah. Remember, there were some kids there. There were some kids there. There's like 5 kids, and they walked over and they were like, "Hey, you guys flying drones? I have a drone." And it was kind of cool once they realized, oh wait, you guys really fly drones. we know who you are. Yeah. That was a pretty cool moment. Crazy. Yeah, I think right here.
Like, what? That's Kelly from Ready Set Drone.
Right here at the end. There's Ed. Look at that thing.
There it is.
That was awesome.
Yeah, but if any of you guys watching right now do want to sort of experience the banter and what we're doing while we fly, it's all captured on that video. It's a fun little video. I don't think it's that long.
Go.
But it's not like my regular videos. It's just a straight, hey, you're hanging out with us flying drones.
Yeah.
This video.
Well, and it was such a nice weekend for that. I mean, that was what I was saying before you guys came on. How cool it was to. I think actually Chris has it up here. We're not going to play the audio on it, but when you crashed into that tree. Yeah, here it is. So World of Oz.
You can play some of the audio. I don't think it's all. Are
we hooked up to play audio on that one?
What's it called? It's Epidemic Sound. So.
Oh, there's where I crashed. That's
I had to include that.
Yes, I hadn't even seen that clip. Can you go back, Chris? That was when I was. That's when I was chasing you guys in the. No, where
Look at
yeah,
that.
that was in the terrain park,
like that.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that I got so much snow up my shirt, dude. That was like my back was just soaked, and then I was cold. I wasn't cold up until that point. Is audio
That's funny.
possible? Oh, hold on. Chris is gonna unmute it. Give you a little teaser here. Then Sean's
what are
gonna
you
give him
flying
a
today?
copyright strike. For
Armored
stealing.
Marmot with Sean's GoPro
Do you ever get those little
11.
alerts
Yeah.
that somebody else is playing your video?
Means that I'm filming.
Yeah, I've
That's
gotten
happened
them
once or twice.
occasionally.
And it's always Ed Ricker, isn't it? He's always playing Sean's videos. Him and Dobo.
I've gotten some other live streams that are playing my video, but it's like, that's fine. You know, it's
Yeah, I don't care if it's
when
a
they're
live.
posting your video in its entirety
about
on their own channel, that's different.
Yeah. That's when they post a review of something that they didn't even do. That's
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah, dude, I hadn't
I've
seen
got a
this.
lot of people sharing my
I'm
short.
excited to see this. Well, and that's the thing too is shorts right now. Ed or Sean has a short with what 14 million views or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it's about to hit 15. Yeah.
Wow. Are you so now you've monetized your shorts, right?
Yeah, they're all monetized now. I mean, but that one didn't get monetized. So
But is it making
lost out on that.
was it making you any money now? Is it still getting a lot of views?
It doesn't get nearly what it was. So
Okay.
it's not making.
So like the
much.
opportunity passed, but it was your turtle mode video, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I went viral as can be. I don't even know why so many people watched it. It's just a drone that goes.
Yeah.
Whoa. I get it.
That and your Jeopardy countdown music. Those two videos.
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
2 minute
yes.
2 minute
You know,
timer.
I think I told you why I made that Jeopardy countdown.
Yeah, for
video.
brushing
It was
your
to, yeah, for little girl I was help raise,
Yep.
2 minute timer because she would go and brush her teeth and be like, I'm done.
Yeah. Like that was 2 seconds,
kinda
not
like
2
it.
minutes. It is
Yeah.
kind of weird
I
when
should
you
be
actually
using
think
your
about
video,
how
yeah.
long 2 minutes is. It's longer than you think.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you watch the clock, it takes forever.
All right. Well,
You know,
everybody
the way
go
I'd
check out
brush
this.
my teeth. I'd probably be bloody gums at that point.
Well, you know, the electric toothbrushes have they do have a built-in timer, and they buzz like every 30 seconds to let you know, and then at 2 minutes they buzz like 4 times or something. So, but yeah, I don't do 2 minutes very often. So what's up with you guys this summer? You going anywhere? You doing anything? Sean, you said you've been really busy with work.
Yeah, I'm planning a trip to Universal Studios Nintendo Land, trying to get
Nice.
my passport so I can maybe go to Belize. I want to go to
Oh.
Hawaii hopefully at some point. I'm gonna start just getting the hell out of here. You know, when you guys come visit, you get a few days, but living here is hard. It's very isolated. You don't get long-term friendships because everyone moves away. So it's a hard place to live. So it's about after March I'll start planning some trips here and there. I think towards late April.
Nice. Man, Belize would be awesome. And
Yeah,
Hawaii.
never been.
Well, I've never
Yeah,
been either.
never been.
I've been to Hawaii. Hawaii's pretty cool, and certainly, you know, the nice thing is there are totally different sort of ecosystems on each of the islands, right? So the Big Island's volcanic and lots of lava and lava tubes and all that sort of thing, and then Kauai is just like lush rainforest, and Oahu. So yeah, that'd be fun. Ed, what about you? You taking any trips?
Yeah,
Trying to organize one with my family. My mom is talking about going hang gliding, but I'm really doubtful as to whether or not she knows what that really is.
Hang gliding.
She saw some pictures and some stuff, and I was like, Mom, you do realize this is somewhat extreme, right? And she's like, well, I don't know. Like, well, you should know before we go. So that's my mom's idea to go hang gliding.
Yes.
We'll talk.
Don't
We'll
discourage.
see.
Don't
I'll
discourage
send her a
that. That
video.
sounds awesome.
I won't send her the one where the guy wasn't strapped in properly and then holds on for like a minute and a half while they're trying to descend back to the ground. I won't
Don't
send her
send
that
that one. No.
but I will probably send her a video of what she's getting herself into. But either way, that is going to be a late birthday present for me and my dad. I was kind of like, just let's go out and do something.
Nice.
With YouTube, I'm hoping to do some videos about Part 107 soon because my 2-year recurrent is coming up soon. And this is my 4th time
Wow.
taking the recurrent, maybe my 3rd time. I guess it's my 3rd time. Maybe my 4th. We'll see. I can't remember. Anyway, so trying to get people back into make some videos about that, because the last time I did Part 107 content was probably 2017, maybe 2018.
And that was doing really well for you, right?
And it was doing pretty well, but also those are kind of outdated now. Some of the things are a little different. Didn't even talk about night flying and all the different things that you can do after you've studied, the different classifications for aircraft and what you can do. So that might be kind of cool to revisit. And then, I guess that's pretty much on the horizon what I'm excited about the most. And then also just waiting for, I guess, the leaves on the trees to come back, so that when we're flying FPV, we can see where we're going a little more in tree, foliage areas.
Not all the ghost
now,
branches.
We're flying like we're talking about today. You mentioned I was doing some live streams with this thing.
Yep.
I was flying down a sidewalk as low as I could. And then I just clip a little branch that I didn't see. It's just because there are branches that have no leaves on trees. And anyone who's flown a drone, in the comments, that, trees are much easier to see when there's leaves on them. So I'm looking forward to seeing the foliage come back into more of a spring and summer environment, and, doing some flying in where you don't need a jacket and you don't have to worry about cold temperatures.
Yeah. Well, and North Carolina is really pretty in the summer and spring, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing is really.
We got the pollen season coming up right now. So you'll walk out to your car and you'll see yellow. It's covered, literally like very covered in pollen. This is cedar pollen now. Then we kind of transition to pine pollen, and that's the heavy hitter. And that's for a couple of weeks, just nothing but yellow in the sky, yellow over your car. It looks like it's just a bunch, like
almost looks like smoke
everywhere. You got to get past that. Yeah, smoke. That's a little. That's less.
Well, no. So I've seen cedar pollen. I've seen on cedar trees where the wind blows and it blows so much of it off that it's like a cloud of something that looks like smoke coming off the tree. It's
that
insane.
was one of my first videos that I did pretty well. One of my first videos that I did pretty well on YouTube. I was just doing daily vlogs. I probably had 300 or less subscribers at the time. I was lucky if I got 100 views per video. And I remember shaking some trees like that and showing the pollen as it just kind of like flings off, and it's just this huge cloud that you're talking about. And one of the weather channels, not the Weather Channel, but one of those,
weather
similar
specialty
types of asked for my footage, and so they used it in one of their news packages. Thought that was pretty cool.
Nice. I just on that same thing. I was in, I think it was Ohio one time, and there were locusts or cicadas. I think people call them locust cicadas. Wow. Thousands of them, right? They're just all over the place. And they were all in these trees in this one parking lot. And I went over and shook the tree, and this cloud of them just flew out. I mean, it just, it was a small tree. It was really kind of creepy, but I have a video of that somewhere I'll need to find. That would make a great short, actually. And then you fly through it.
That sound of cicadas. Yeah.
You fly through.
Slap.
You anger all the people. Yeah, exactly. All the people who are like, bug and insect enthusiasts,
right.
All those people. But that sound of cicadas, I love that sound. It reminds me of my childhood growing up in like Ohio, Indiana.
Yeah, in the evenings.
You hear that during the summer, and it's almost deafening,
Well, when it's really loud, yeah. And this was one of those insane. Mm-hmm. That's the thing Sean was telling us. There's no bugs in Dillon, right? It's too high of an elevation.
So during the winter. Well, that in the winter there's like none. In the summer there's barely any.
Yeah, no mosquitoes. Well, yeah, bears.
It's probably the cold that keeps them from,
Yeah, we get bears. Exactly. We don't really have snakes or anything though. No poisonous snakes.
Well, I'd take a snake over a bear any day.
The rattlesnakes stop at around 8,000 feet above sea level. They don't go over that.
Right on. Well, so
when we say in North Carolina, it's like if we have a mild winter, it means we're going to have bad insects for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
that's how it was in Texas.
Same in Texas.
Winter, then they'll either get killed off or at least they'll be hindered from getting too big. I don't know the science behind it, but yeah, it's generally good to have at least a little bit of a very cold winter here just to keep the bugs at bay.
What was interesting about moving here, Kelly, is coming from Houston where the mosquitoes are ridiculous.
Yeah, Houston is bad.
Whenever I finally saw mosquitoes here, the first year I was here, I was out on a trail near water, and I thought Texas mosquitoes were big, but they look like little miniature things compared to the ones here. I guess it's because if they can make it through this winter, they have to be on steroids or something. I don't know. They're huge,
but they're slower.
I
feel like mosquitoes in Colorado are slower and aren't as aggressive. Is that? Or
the ones up here are pretty bad.
Oh, really?
Not by my house. Now I won't get mosquitoes at my house all summer. I won't see
Okay.
a single mosquito. By
But
my
you have to be
house.
near
But
standing
if you
water,
go off
right?
into the woods,
Okay.
that and it's the woods near some kind of water or some damp, moss on the trees, that kind of stuff on a hike, and you'll find it there. I did just share, if you want to, I don't know if you want to share shorts while we're doing this, but the video of us almost running into each other,
Oh, yeah,
I shared
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
shared the preview of the smoke bomb where I put together a smoke bomb, and I shared the one of you with the Mavic 3 following me in that channel at the bottom.
Yeah, that was awesome. Chris, can you
got
able to
some
get
cool
that?
shots, and we
Yeah, basically at the bottom of the smoke trail, the coming down off of the Continental Divide, Loveland Pass. I was on the phone, I think, with you that whole ride, and you were like, "Dude, you got to get this. You got to come down further because you got to get me going through this thing." And then when I saw it, I was like, "Whoa, that!" So we had been watching. Ed and Sean and I were at dinner, and we were watching snowboard championships somewhere in, was it Alaska, right? And like Gab 707 was chasing people. Well, this looked like that. It wasn't that kind of chase, but that gorge looked like what they were riding through. But here's the near miss, I think, that that we had. So this is me riding with a 360 camera, minding my own business, and then here comes Sean. Put on the brakes. Oh! If he had kept going, that was gonna clip me and send me spinning down into a snowball. All right, and then
it would have been a bad day.
Here's the footage of some of the smoke bombs that we've been talking about. Chris has it. Thank you, Chris. Yeah,
I ate a lot of smoke that day.
So is this that's your 360 camera? Was any of this? That's
that's
FPV.
GoPro. That's Ed. That's the Mavic.
Yep.
That's the 360.
Was it hard to mix those things, like the Mavic footage and the now I will say the Mavic too, the color grading on that, it was a flat color profile, wasn't it, Ed? Like log.
It was log.
Yeah.
Log. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
it's a little tricky because I'm trying to match it all to the Vivid on the 360 camera and the GoPro because I was filming in Vivid modes. So now I have to go through and manually tweak them to try to get them close to that. Or I have not started the long video yet. There's so much footage and the shop's been so busy. I know it's been 2 weeks, but it's just been so crazy. And every time I'm like, oh, I got 30 minutes. And then I sit down and I look at all the footage.
There's
like,
that
that is
gully.
not enough time to make a dent.
There's that. Oh, can you back that up? Back that up, Chris, so you can kind of see.
This also shows how we rode down to the road at the bottom.
Yeah,
that gully was cool.
That's super. It's almost like a half pipe, right?
Yeah, and it was so cool because I actually was filming the flight that you did, so I would find where I was on your shot and then look for myself on my shot. And
so those are actually in
sync.
sync. Those shots are in sync.
Oh yeah, they're perfectly in sync. They're damn close to perfectly in sync.
Sweet.
Well, I think that as long as you're able to get a video out before it gets like all melted, if it's like, wait,
yeah, I know,
you're putting out a snow video out when it's not even
in the summertime.
I know you have some leeway with that because of where you live.
I know
it could be snowy for a while, so it's no big
if I wait too late, then I just got to sit on it until next fall.
By the way, I don't know if you actively call out super chats, but you did get one a little while back, Kelly.
Yes, Scott Richardson. He's the man. Thank you, Scott. Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys. Ed, you've probably done this. Sean, have you ever actually flown in a bando, an abandoned building? Like,
yeah. Well, kind of. Let me see. Yeah, once.
Okay. Ed,
there's not a lot of them up here by me.
Well, there's not a lot in Austin.
Yes. Oh, wait. I did. I was driving from Las Vegas to LA, and you know where iPhondo and they go to that water park that's deserted in the middle of the desert?
Yeah.
I stopped there and I flew the DJI FPV all through it. I had my electric skateboard and I was like, oh, wow, look, I'm a real YouTuber now. Like I'm at that water park. And the video has actually got all kinds of facts. And I found old commercials
for the water park,
the actual water park before it closed down. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I got it all mixed in. So I put all this real information to it as I'm riding around and cutting back and forth to those old scenes. It started out just as some lake in the desert.
No fence around it or anything. It's pretty much just you can go anywhere.
Oh no, there's a fence.
Oh
no, there's a fence. Gotta sneak in.
Okay. Ed, what about have you flown abandoned buildings a few times?
Yeah, there've been some times where we've flown, and it hasn't always been a building that still exists. Like sometimes it's a bando that you think, okay, we can go back there again one day. Sometimes it's a building that's scheduled for demolishment, and so you get one chance,
Right.
or you don't know if you get one chance, but you come up another day, and all of a sudden it's
gone.
flat land.
Yeah,
You think,
yeah.
oh well, we had our chance, but yeah, there's been some opportunity.
So the reason I bring that up, I've never done that. That's like, there's not a lot. Austin's kind of I don't know, like there's just not a lot of, it's not like Detroit or someplace with a lot of old buildings that are some dilapidated. There is a little shopping center behind a convenience store off of 183 that I've driven past hundreds of times. And I've always looked at it and thought, I wonder what that would be like to fly in. So last week, Chris and I went out to that shopping center, to the convenience store, and there's a parking lot. You can park right behind it because it used to be a shopping center. So there's plenty of parking. It's easy to get to. No fence. We go inside, and this thing is some kids, I guess, or adults, skaters have turned this into a skate park. So they've got rail slides and half pipes built in there, but it's all graffitied. The walls are falling down. The ceiling's falling down. There's like broken skateboards everywhere. I mean, it's just so friggin' cool. It was really like it. I think I had low expectations. I thought it was just going to be a dilapidated building, and it was. But it had holes in the ceiling so you could dive down through them. It had these little towers on it that used to maybe have glass on them, and the glass is all broken so you can fly through them. It was. Yeah, if you come to Austin, I'll take you there. We're going to kind of keep it under wraps. I'm telling people about it now. I'm mentioning it, but I'm not telling them where it is because I don't want that to turn into. I don't want too many people to go there. It's kind of nice. When we were there, for
that's a good idea.
A while, and nobody else showed up. Just us flying through there. Kind of middle of the day though. It would be a pretty creepy place at night. Like that's the thing is,
Yeah.
Who's going to come in and start?
Well, Kelly, you mentioning all the graffiti. I dropped a link. When you have time later, go watch it for that water park.
Oh yeah,
covered in not just graffiti, but really, really good art. I mean, so much good art everywhere.
Yeah,
that it's almost like they should just open it as is and let people come just to see all the art.
So
and
people have gone in and just done big murals and all that kind of thing.
Oh, like we're talking people that know what they're doing, not just kids tagging stuff.
Right. Wow,
it's incredible.
That, I mean, Sean, that would be something. I feel like you could do really good graffiti if you wanted to. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Chris has the video. Chris has the video playing here in the background. Oh yeah. So you can check out some of the sides of the building. Yeah, I think the space we were in was probably like one of those buildings. Yeah, a lot like this. Wow.
That's awesome.
And you're walking your dog through it.
Like, yeah, I had the dogs. Like in a second here, I start showing some of this graffiti, and I mean, it's real. It's
yeah. Wow. No, that's.
I mean, look at that.
That is
straight portrait. That's hard to do with a spray can.
And this is off of I-10.
No, it's the road between Vegas and Los Angeles.
Okay.
It's Dolores Water Park, I think is what it's called.
Okay, so there's the highway over there.
Yep. And the rumor is they're going to reopen it eventually. Obviously, COVID came in. I don't know if they're still going to, but there's all these little clips, and you can see where the lake used to be when you climb up to the top where the water slides were.
Wow.
I'm just walking around. It was just really cool.
There's the commercial. River. Yeah. So this was in the desert though. I mean, right? There's not a whole lot of water around there. So this must have all been piped in.
No,
or well water.
It was really pretty crazy to check it all out. And then to find the commercial and sort of eyeball it and be like, okay, that is this section, and try to figure out what it was.
That's awesome.
I went down underneath this one slide, and there's you can see where all the electronics and gear and pumps were. And I walked in, I think all these birds flew out. You're like, whoa.
It's kind of but that would be an epic place to fly FPV though. I mean, that the fact that you got to do that a little bit. These
somewhere in there's some clips of me flying the drone through it, and this is a while ago, so I've gotten better since then.
Yeah.
But I think I scout the whole thing, and then I actually go back to where my car is parked, and I flew from the road, and as I'm flying, all of a sudden I hear this knock, 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 knock on my window, goggles on. I'm like, okay, who the hell would do that? Who is that? And it's this couple and they're like, "Hey man, we were walking around in there, and did you get us in there? Because we would love the shots of us just sort of walking and holding hands." And I'm like, I
Oh,
have
the
no
drone
idea. I didn't
shots?
see you.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's the drone footage. So they were just walking around in there, and they wanted to know if you got footage of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is a mix between, I think, the Air 2 and the DJI FPV.
Yeah. This is nice. Like down close to the ground.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
know,
nice
it's a
interaction
cool
that
spot.
you had.
that is the kind
And
of
it's the first time
abandoned.
I've ever flown in a spot flat like that, and it's so much easier than these mountains.
Oh,
man.
for sure. What were you doing? Oh, were you flying here or walking? Oh, you were walking through that gully.
I think I was on the electric skateboard on that, maybe.
Oh, nice. No, I'll
But
check
I
this
think
video
I got
out
some
for
more
sure.
drone shots at the end. But yeah, it's really interesting because I tried really hard to find any factual information I could about the past of it and how it why it became broken down like that. I mean, I
Yeah.
went through so many websites digging up research on this place.
Look at those slides.
Like that's how it started. Like
Dang.
stand-up water slides. It was crazy.
Wow. Well, you remember that water slide in Waco that we went to that like jump, that has the ramp at the
Yes.
end. That sends you flying.
We have to go back.
Yeah. I
Take
got to
a
get
drone
on
on
the
that.
try
surfboard.
it.
Just get a drone off of that slide. That'd be kind of cool, right?
They were
Holding the 360 camera would be cool though.
Or just
Yeah.
take it like disarm your drone, Kelly, like you did on the ice. Take it down the slide, see what happens.
Well, there's water on it. It would get fried.
Oh, it's water. Oh, okay, never mind. So if there's water in, never mind. I thought you were talking about an abandoned.
Oh no, this
situation.
one is not abandoned.
No.
Okay.
This
Well,
is
then in this
Waco
case-
Surf Park.
Oh, okay. So something is still open. I see.
Oh yeah.
It would be cool though, like where you were showing us, Sean, like something like that. Take a drone off one of the
Oh.
dried up slides.
and
That'd
then
be
and
really
then
cool.
and then arm it when it's in the air and see if you can actually take off.
That would be
I've seen
cool.
people do that. I've seen people do that on smaller slides. Yeah, if there was something that had enough gravity or enough length to get the gravity to get the speed to take off or something, that'd be really cool to try. I want to try it.
One Vision Aerial said that'd be like the Star Wars trench run in an FPV quad. That's pretty good. Stay on target. Stay on target. Luke, you've shut off your computer. What's wrong? Nothing.
Well, then you got to do a couple of drones. You got to have one that chases the other. That'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool too.
So you get the vision in the back. Well,
Mhm.
I have a couple of things. If you guys can stick around, yeah, we're over an hour. I have a couple of things that I promised people. One of the things that Chris came up with that we've been doing is we've been hiding these little secret hashtags in our videos. And if people find them and post them in the comments, they get entered into a contest. And so we had a video just recently that had, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 secret hashtags, and 6 people found them and commented. So we've got the 6 people on the wheel here, and we're going to give it a spin. And I do want to give a shout out to Michael Wright if he's still watching. He found all of them. He's the only person that found, there were like 4 hashtags, and he found all 4 of them. But Michael Wright wins all the time. He's in here. He might win again. But I'm going to say whoever this lands on is going to win. So, Sean, are you able to reach over with your left hand and spin the wheel up? Or no, maybe your right hand?
Up?
Yeah, spin it up. Ready? Go.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Good job. All right. And oh my God, Michael Wright, Texas Architecture Drone Guy. He's the winner. All right, Michael. That's awesome. No, he deserves it. He got all the tags, all the hashtags. It's just kind of fun because you really find out what people watch the videos all the way through, and then Chris always comes up with really funny for something funny for those.
There he is. He's in there. Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Chris is in earshot of you. He can hear me, right?
Yes.
That might be the contest I did, was hashtags hidden throughout a video for him to win that 360 camera. If I recall, that's the contest he won.
He said it was physical hashtags. What does that mean? Like,
yeah, I had him like taped on different spots in the background and stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. He just heard that. He said that was awesome. Yeah, I guess that's where the idea came from. But congrats to Michael Wright. Man, I can't think of somebody honestly who is a better member of this community. Like Michael Wright's, he came to Spin Down. He's come to Spin Up. He's going to Florida for the meetup out there. He came to Austin for a couple of meetups here. He's just a good guy, and very much appreciate him. And so he's the winner. Michael, I will hit you up after I get back. Do you guys know I'm going to London next week? Did I tell you that?
No.
I'm
cool.
going to London. So we're going there for spring break, taking my kids. They've never been. And I'm going to meet up with Sean from Geeks Fauna. We're going to go grab a pub lunch and maybe fly. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to like the Tate Modern Museum, which is supposed to be really cool. We're going to Bath, which is a little town. We're going to go to a premier soccer game, or football as they call it over there. See what the hooligans are all about. I mean, you've heard about these soccer hooligans, right? They knock over dustbins and pick your pocket if you're not careful.
Dustbins, rubbish
the
bins.
The fans that tear down stadiums.
Yeah. Well, there's a comedian. His name what is his name? Dang, I'm blanking on it. But he used to have this bit about when he lived in L.A. and he went to England, and while he was there, he was talking about crime in L.A. and they said, oh yes, his name was Bill Hicks. They said, Bill, crime here is terrible too. As a matter of fact, last night some hooligans tipped over a dustbin in Shaftesbury. And he was like, oh, I'd hate to be a dustbin in Shaftesbury tonight, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
That reminds me, Kelly, when I first moved here to this little town, I'll make this story quick. Some of the locals were like, the crime is getting out of control. Everything's changing. And Gina at the time was like, oh my God, where did we move to? What is going on here? And so I looked more into it and I talked to them, and it turns out kids were getting their bikes stolen who left them in their front yard.
Right. Oh no.
And that was the crime. We're coming from Houston. If you leave your bike out in the front yard,
for
you
5
might
minutes.
as well put a sign on it, say free.
Yeah. No. I did
really
when I was a kid. I had my bike stolen out of the front yard, and so I can.
It's
totally
all perception,
relate.
right?
Yeah. No, it's just like cold, right?
If you live in a place that hasn't really had crime, and then all of a sudden something happens, that's the worst crime that happens. To you, it's bad.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's the worst it gets up there. Have you guys know Chris Hope? Chris Hope, another pillar of the drone community. Mm-hmm. Every month he does a little video for this show called 2 Minutes of Hope, and I got a chance to look at what he sent this month already. It's awesome. We're going to watch it again, so stick around. It's 2 minutes long, and then we'll come back. We'll do subscriber of the month, and then we'll wrap up. So thank you guys for being
Kelly,
on.
Before we go too,
when
when the 2 minutes of hope is over, I wouldn't mind asking, I don't know how many people are watching, but you remember how I talked about doing sort of a creator meetup? I wouldn't mind asking and picking your viewers' brains to see if anyone would even be interested in that.
Yeah, we'll do that right after. We'll do that as the last thing before we wrap up at the end. So again, Chris Hope, let's check out 2 Minutes of Hope.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 2 Minutes of Hope for March of 2023. It's already March. Hard to believe, ain't it? Well, I've been doing a little work around the place. Thought I'd share with y'all right quick. Then we're going to take a little walk in the woods. Been trying to walk it every day, so go with you. But you can see I got trees down. Ice storm didn't help. Got the garden plowed up. Got my onions in the garden. They're doing really good. Proud of those. So just bear with me a minute. We'll go check out some stuff. Y'all notice these are anchors. I twisted them in the ground to hold back his H brace. When they pulled the fence, they pulled a little too tight, and it kind of wanted to pull it out of the ground. So I put these anchors in. We'll ease up here and see if we can see any of these big grass carp he's got in this lake. That's one of those grass carp. Sucker's huge. You can't catch them. Maybe with some corn and a hook, but he put them in here to eat his, keep his lake clean. And they do a really good job. Woodies. Wood ducks. Here in whistling. That's pretty cool. Number 10. I believe she is a 10. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I had fun doing it, and I appreciate you, Kelly, for letting me do this once a month. Until next time, guys, this is 2 minutes of hope for March of 20 and 23. It's hard to believe spring is just around the corner. Good Friday, Easter, all that goes with it. We'll catch y'all next month, and I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for stopping by. Bye-bye.
So you know where we got to go fly some
That's
FPV
so
is through Chris Hope's farm because those cows.
Now, where does he live?
East Texas. East
Oh,
Texas,
wow, okay,
kind of
yeah.
east
That's
near
awesome.
Houston.
That actually explains a ton on why every time I see his stuff, it reminds me of my family. All my family's from a lot of my family's from Grapeland and Crockett, and so I bet you Chris knows where that is.
Are you serious? I dated a girl from Crockett when I was in college and went there a few times. So
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's pretty. It's lots of pine trees and piney woods.
It's interesting, man, because I grew up in the city, but I went to Crockett and Grapeland every other weekend doing all kinds of country stuff, blowing stuff up and four-wheelers mud. And so I have this weird mix of country and city.
That's awesome. That seems like that's a goal for me. It's like, because when I grew up, I used to live in the woods out in the country on a dirt road. And then as I grew up a little bit, we got to more of a paved road. We had a couple acres with some horses, but then as we keep growing up, then we start living in a smaller house. Now I live in a townhouse, and my property is basically just my 2 parking spots out front. So to see something like that, it's like, man, I hope that's how it ends. I hope that's how like everything culminates, is with me having some land, be able to walk around, have some cows, have a lake. Like, that's so cool to see something like that. I love that. I love that living situation, something like that.
I just was in New York City. That's why we had to move this over. And we were talking about what rent is for a like 500 square foot or 1,000 square foot apartment. You're paying like thousands and thousands of dollars for no space at all. I like New York. It's a great place to visit, but I don't think I could live in that situation, with that many people all around. Mm-hmm. No place. I mean, if you just want to go out and fly a drone, there's really no place to do it easily, right? You got to kind of get out of the city or go over to the water, or, otherwise you're going to get Casey Neistat chasing after you or something. But yeah. So, and speaking of Casey Neistat, so Sean, you did that whole Casey Neistat class, right? The creator class, and you thought it was worthwhile?
It was what I liked about it was that it confirmed all the things I was doing to film and put it together, because I do like to do a lot of story-based content, even if it's about a product. I will go out of my way to try to, not always. Lately, I've been very lazy, but it takes so much more time and work. But to try to get some kind of story with different shots to make it entertaining instead of just, here's the product, let me tell you about it. So it was really cool, like hearing him say stuff and going, that's exactly what I was doing. And it motivated me to start doing it again, because I'd been getting lazy. And I think that's part of like us meeting up, like even us, like, or spin up or any of that. It remotivates us, sort of re-sparks us to stop being lazy and to get back on it,
And you have this idea to have a creator meetup where you share ideas, right? You get creators together, mm-hmm. You rent a house, you basically learn from one another. And you're right. I mean, that is something that I think naturally happened. Like at Spin Down, you had Jonathan Buckhouse come out and speak, and I learned a bunch from just listening to him talk about how his journey went for, going from zero to making a living doing YouTube, right? I mean, that's what he does now.
Dude, he's doing better than all of us.
Yeah, yeah.
Like even when he was killing it when he wasn't even at 50,000 subscribers.
But the point was that he was willing to share that information. He was willing to share what worked for him and what didn't. And I think that honestly, it's why I enjoy. One of the reasons, besides the fact that you're great guys, I enjoy hanging out with you, is we all have this sort of passion for creating content, and to be able to share. There's not a lot of people that understand that, like a lot of my friends are just like, why do you waste your time? Why do you spend so much time editing videos, and why do you always shoot? And it's just like, I don't know. It's just fulfilling for me. There's a community, right? It's so awesome that so many people we know just through YouTube, right? That's how the three of us know each other, right? And we've got to be great friends.
Yep.
Is because, but when you have like-minded people, I think you're on to something, Sean, that ultimately, maybe it's something you plan for next spring but Sean's idea and what he wants to ask the chat is if well, you explain it. What would you propose, like in broad strokes?
There's two ways to do it. One would be opening up to the general public, which would then have some of us like you guys, myself. Aldrin was interested from Flight Path. He was just up here. I went snowboarding with him
nice.
Last week. Yeah, you guys missed him by like a week.
Nice.
But yeah, we went over to Breckenridge and snowboarded, and I talked to him a little bit about it. And there are some private events like this already that can't Sony and some other people do, where just certain creators are selected. But I thought I'd rather base it more like what my buddy Jonathan does, and he does a snowboard camp where he actually goes out and he his price, he gets a big rental, like a mansion with many bedrooms, and people come in and he gets food for everybody, buys pizza, does everything.
So it's like all inclusive.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's not cheap, but they get to ride with him. They get to watch how he films. They get to sit down at night and watch how he edits. And I thought, why not do something like that where we're not really making a profit off these people, but it covers cost.
Yeah.
We're there. They're hanging out with us all day. We're going to film. They get to watch, and we help them film videos. And then we all sit down at night and edit. And as they're editing, we can sit down and look at what they're editing, help them see how we would do it, and doesn't mean they have to do it that way, but
yeah,
they're sort of there to learn off us. So it's sort of silly if they don't take the advice, but something where, 3-4 days, something like that, where we get together in this just badass place, make sure it has a hot tub, and, we hang out, we film, we edit, and we go bowl or do something afterwards. Maybe if it's in the winter, a couple of us can go snowboard, whoever wants it. There's so many possibilities. I just think it'd be a cool way to meet more people that are at a different level.
Maybe that becomes what we do next year.
Sort of give back.
Like with the snowboarding trip.
Yeah, it's almost like spin up on steroids.
Well, and Spin Up is more directed at drones, right? Spin Up is more about flight, RC flight, drones, that sort of thing. Whereas what you're talking about is more of a creator camp. So it wouldn't matter if you have a channel. My daughter's gotten into YouTube.
Take back what I said. Cancel.
And her YouTube is all about right. It could be anybody. It could be anybody. Her YouTube is all about plants. Like she's like buying these plants, talking about what kind they are, how she potted them, how she grew them, how she's taking clippings, and she's getting lots of comments. She's getting lots of engagement from people who are nuts about plants, And so I think for her and of course I'm always telling her what to do, poor girl, but for her,
and they never listen to Dad, right?
No, that's right. If you told her, if one of you guys said, "Hey, I found that if you do it this way, you get more views, or you get more comments, or maybe this video is a little too long," because all of her videos are like 20 minutes long. That's the biggest problem, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to cut anything. But if she heard it from other people who were more objective and not her father, she might be more willing to listen. But I think it's a great idea. I mean, ultimately, Sean, it would be up to you to lead the charge and get people involved. Oh, wow. Hold on. I got to tell you guys, my brother Brad from Virginia just gifted 5 Ready Set Drone memberships. I didn't even know you could do that. So
nice.
How does that work?
Wow.
So people in the chat can become members and Brad pays for it for some period of time, I think. Wow. That's new to me, but there's something about YouTube we just learned, right? You can gift memberships.
Pretty cool.
Thank you, Brad. Have you seen that before, Sean?
Yeah. Jonathan, on Jonathan's channel, when he does his live streams, his community is it's insane, dude. You should jump on there sometime.
Yeah.
But some of his members will gift like $50 worth of memberships or $100 to other people that just don't have them. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Thank you. Thanks to Brad for doing that, and for I'm going to look into what that's all about. It says it hands them out randomly, is what Maddie's Drone World said. So you basically make it, and then that person becomes a member for a certain period of time.
Yeah, it's still coming in too. I see that. Airworthy Tours just got one.
Sweet. Well, so. Wait, who just said I need to watch other live streams? Bob Casey. I do watch other live streams. Probably not as often as I should. Not as often as I used to, honestly, but I always pop into people's live streams. I love doing that. Somebody said FPV Master Class. Oh, Geeksvana with Ed. That FPV wing chase masterclass with Ed, something we need. Way to go, Sean. I agree. Would you teach a masterclass on wing chasing? That's pretty niche.
Actually, see, that's the kind of stuff that we could do, things like that, hands-on, not just all just hand, but we could come up with a few things like that's Ed's specialty. So
Yeah.
we say between this time and that time, we're going to go out and do that. You can either join us or go film your own thing. Between this time and that time, we'll go out and film with you to film videos. We'll get one subject so everyone can film the same thing, but in a different way. And
So-
it's one of the coolest things is when I go out and collab with somebody and we're filming the exact same video topic, the videos are completely different when we're done, which is so cool.
Yeah, yeah. It is neat to see somebody else's take on it. And, you know, the problem is if Ed did a wing chasing class, everybody thought he's talking about buffalo wings, and it was an episode of Hot Ones or something.
I've been talking in the chat here, just saying hi to people. But
Nice.
yeah, so chasing has its own skill set. It's a lot of going to be also just practice and experience. But I'd say lately I've been leading the chase because sometimes flying a wing, it's easy to fly in front of the formation. Otherwise, you get a lot of wind disturbance
Right.
and stuff like that if you're second, fourth, fifth back. But of course, the quad has no issue with that. And I even learned that today flying quads. It's so easy. You can fly in any wind, pretty much any weather. You're having a good time. You switch to a winged aircraft, and all of a sudden you're dependent on the wind and the weather. And if it's even a 5 or 10 mile an hour breeze, you're bouncing all over the
Well,
place.
it's like a huge
that's
sail,
definitely
right? I
something
mean,
that
it's got
takes
so much surface
a
area.
little bit to get, and to go from one to the other, quickly, like, you may have warmed up with the quad and gone to the wing. All of a sudden, you're just like, oh, this is completely different with the weather change. So,
Oh yeah, Ed, I
definitely
used to
very
do
interesting.
combat gliders with the wings, right? I think I told you that before.
I will say having a camera on the front with an FPV goggle, it makes that even more so jarring because you're seeing right here in a full screen environment with your eyes whatever is happening with your wing, with the wind hitting it. So yeah, I mean, it's bouncing all over the place. Shelby Vole is in the chat.
Yeah, I saw
He's
that.
great at that. He just gave us a small super chat.
Yeah,
saying
thank you,
that,
Shelby.
There's a live stream tomorrow called the Drone Hanger 2.0. It's on Shelby Vole's channel, and we'll be on there tomorrow. But
Sweet.
it's a weekly show every Sunday. But he always gets us out there. Shelby's good at, getting the crowd together, riling us all up, getting us going, and having a good chase session. Also, Michael Scott Rue is in here too, and he does really well with chasing, and he's putting out a lot of chasing content on his channel. So check both of those channels out.
Yep, I see
and
them
then they post way more than I do, to be honest. So I gotta get back up to their speed. But either way, really cool. Chasing is so much fun, so much adrenaline. I love it. I love it. We did a little bit of that today in the live stream you referred to earlier.
Well, so definitely, Ed's channel, Ed Ricker Vlogs, right? Is the name of your channel?
Ed Ricker.
Oh, just Ed Ricker.
Yeah.
Well,
it might be if you were to type it in, it might say Ed Ricker Vlogs, but just Ed Ricker as the channel name.
What's interesting is like Sean. When I search for you, if I search Sean, I have to actually type in world to get your handle. Like you have that handle. So you have the handle Sean Oz at Sean Oz on YouTube. But to find your channel, I have to type in world. So it's World of Oz.
Huh.
So anyway, it's
I mean, for many years, my channel was just Sean Oz. And then a couple years ago, I made the choice to switch it to World of Oz, just because it sounded, for somebody who didn't know me or know what the channel was about, it sounded more encompassing of all the things that I do.
You're like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I used to be called the Lizard.
The Lizard of Oz. Well, hey guys, thank you very much.
Story we will not tell today.
For coming on. Sean, again, Ed and I both were talking before you got on about how much we appreciate you putting us up in your house and being a host and taking us out on the slopes. That was awesome. And
I love doing it. So
Ed did say that he thought I was an intermediate, not a beginner, so advanced beginner. So
you're a beginner intermediate. I was actually who was I talking to today? Oh, my friend Todd. I don't know if you met him, and we were actually talking about you, Kelly.
Oh,
and
nice.
your writing. and he was like, oh, okay, so
what did you call it? Paddling? No, ruddering.
Your rudder. It's like using your back it's a very 90s thing. The boards were made a little different then, and so using your edge to carve instead of trying to use your back foot as a rudder, and then you're pushing. That's the only two things you really need to lock down, and you'll go from like here to here almost overnight.
Well, and you got to admit, I did work on both those things. Like you saw me working on them the whole weekend. I feel like I did get better.
You weren't. A lot of people will be closed-minded and not listen. You actually were all open for getting better, and that's what it takes. It's just like drones or anything else. Like you made a great analogy. Actually, you should share that. When you're flying camera drones and you go to FPV or something like that.
flying in stabilized mode versus acro. So basically, I'm riding my snowboard as if I'm flying still in stabilized mode, and I have to be willing to fail a little bit to get to acro. Just like riding my board, right? I gotta, it's going to be hard for a little while to get better, but once I do, like, it's such a difference. And that's the thing with flying in acro too, is once you get it, it's just like, wow, this is so much more free flying than having your drone fighting you, but you got to start somewhere, right? Just like you got to start on the bunny slope. Well, hey,
it was cool to learn snowboarding from Sean. Just I was going to say, because to have someone who's really, I would consider Sean to be advanced, and I think you consider yourself to be 100%. That too. You've been doing it for a while. Kelly, you've been doing it for 20 something years or whatever, but Sean does it every day.
Right.
And that's what's crazy. So I think when Sean first taught me to snowboard a couple of years ago, a lot of it's rapid fire, sort of like suggestions and tips. And they're all good. They're all valid, but it's a lot to kind of retain and to do as you go. And I found that there were some times where I thought, okay, hold on, wait. Let me do my real thing. Let me do my own thing. I'll learn on my own pace, just for a bit, because it's sensory overload. It's information overload. And I think that sometimes learning FPV, learning drones with FPV, it's kind of that same thing. It's like, oh, do this, do that, oh, do this in real time. It becomes overwhelming for the new pilot. So it's like, it's almost like you got to keep doing it. You got to keep having someone like Sean next to you to not only give you the tips and the suggestions in real time, but also to observe you and let you learn and, touch the hot burner on the stove. Basically, there's some things you have to learn just by experience.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool for me to learn. And I think, Kelly, you probably benefited from that too.
Oh, 100%.
With Sean giving you some real-time suggestions while we were out there, in the midst of it. So yeah, it was really cool to have Sean as a teacher. And I think that helped me immensely.
It's interesting that we keep using the analogy of the FPV, because you're 100% right. There's a point where all of a sudden the controls click and you're still sort of sketchy, but you're like, if I do, okay.
Yeah.
And it just sort of clicks. And then it's just muscle memory doing it again and again and again. And with you, Ed, because you did learn the way it is now, right? Like your back foot was always in the right spot when you're skating. When you're turning, you're actually carving to turn. So you learned 100% the way that people would learn now. So like, I was incredibly impressed and proud of how you were snowboarding this time. You might not be powering down fast or anything, but that doesn't matter. You're doing everything right. So now it's just muscle memory.
I'm thinking about all those upcoming video gigs that I have, and the grumpy vlogger. What, I can't remember his name.
Lloyd.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Lloyd. That's right. He said something about how it sounds like breaking hips. I thought, well, no broken bones this time around. And I always think about that. I'm coming back from visiting Sean with no broken bones. I'm committed to that. So I might putt around. I might be the slowest snowboarder you'll ever see. But I have not broken a bone yet.
But you get down the mountain safe.
You got the Rona, but you didn't. You got the Rona, but you
I'd
didn't.
rather
get. Gave me the Rona. I was sick for days.
I don't mind getting the coronavirus. I just don't want to break an arm. That's fine.
That's true. Fine. You'll recover. Well, hey guys, thank you again for taking the time, and thanks for going with the change. I didn't. The change to Saturday was not because I didn't have a choice, right? Because I had to be in New York.
No, it actually worked out for me, Kelly, because I was not able to finish tattooing yesterday until like 9 o'clock at night. So I wouldn't have been able to make it yesterday either way.
But
and thank you for being willing to push it to the evening, because I wanted to fly with Scott and Shelby in the chat and a few other people people today, and that was very important to me. I thought, okay, I haven't seen these guys in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And you talk about this, Kelly, about you don't fly alone. You never fly alone.
That's right.
And I'm like, you know what? This is something which you got to get that community going. You got to have friends and your drone family. So yeah, appreciate you pushing this to the evening because you suggested 4 or 5, and I said that's prime time flying for my guys.
Oh, so, yeah, no, I was actually trying to. I pretty much today. I didn't get into Austin until 2:30 in the morning last night because of flight delays. And man, I never stay up that late, so I was dragging today. But a couple of Dr. Peppers, and I'm good to go. But yeah, the last thing I got to do here, I got to give a shout out to Jeff with Carolina Air Shots. He was subscriber of the month for February. I sent him a package with some goodies. And I'm going to tell you guys who the subscriber of the month this month is, and you're not going to believe it because his name is also Sean. It's Sean from Geeksvana. I got to say, Sean from Geeksvana he's been around forever doing all kinds of stuff in the UK. He's got his own live streams. He's got his own shows. He's very knowledgeable about drones. I'm going to meet him next week, and I'm going to bring his goodies directly to him because I think sometimes people in Europe and the UK, they don't, it's not as easy for us to ship stuff to them, right? So sometimes I know Sean Oz won't ship stuff overseas if you went on his channel, or at least he said that one time, and I've latched onto it. But ultimately, it's expensive, right? I mean, shipping stuff costs a lot, so I'm excited to meet Sean from Geeksvana next week in person. I want to just thank him for being such a great part of the community, for being so willing to meet up with me while I'm over there, and he's subscriber of the month for March. So congrats, Sean. If you don't know Geeksvana, go check it out. If you don't know Ed Ricker, definitely go check it out. And you saw some of Sean Oz's, World of Oz's content tonight that we were just playing in the background. I got to go binge. That's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to binge watch Sean Oz, eat dinner, and then I'm going to go to bed. And maybe I'll binge watch enough that I'll fall asleep watching it. You'll get lots of watch time.
I promise, guys, I'll start editing the smoke bomb videos maybe when we're done here.
Please do. Well, again, thank you to Michael Wright. Congrats for winning the contest. Lambo, Chris Hope, my brother Brad from Virginia. I think I saw earlier Artco in the house. And sorry, Art, if I didn't mean, I was trying to go late enough that I didn't step on your show. Ray Kelly. You guys are awesome. I appreciate this community so much. I will get my ass in gear and get a date and a deposit. Part of the thing too is I've had to save up some money through Ready Set Drone so I can put a deposit down for the space. But I think you guys told me when it worked for you two, and I know Sean and Ed will be there if they can at all possibly be for Spin Up this fall. And so again, thanks guys. Remember, don't fly alone, and let's go out with the big song that everybody loves. Oh no, not again. You know, Chris, FPV is really fun, but sometimes don't you just want to fly a good old camera drone? All right, boot it up, Chris. Time to take off. When I think back on model planes I built in high school, it's a wonder I could fly at all. And while those gas-powered motors never hurt my fingers none, I always wish my planes would never stall. Camera drones, they give us those nice bright colors, give us the dreams of summer, make you think all the world's a sunny day. Oh yeah, I got a flying camera, I love to take a photograph, so mama don't take my camera drone away. If you took all the drones I crashed when I started flying and sent them all back for repair, I know they'd probably figure out that I was lying.
It just flew off. I don't know what happened. But a new model's coming out soon, so I don't care. Camera drones, they give us those nice bright colors, give us the dreams of summer, make you think all the world's a sunny day. Oh yeah, I got a flying camera, I love to take a hyperlapse, so mama don't take my camera drone away. 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 Mama don't take my camera drone. Mama don't take my camera drone. Mama don't take my camera drone away. Mama don't take my camera drone. Leave those rules and regs alone. Mama don't take my camera drone away. Mama don't take my camera drone. Woo. Mama don't take my camera drone away. Mama don't take my camera drone. Leave those rules and regs alone. Mama don't take my camera drone away. Okay.
Yeah. But Kelly, I just don't even know if I have time. I don't lip sync. I'm trying to prepare for Drone Brews. Fine. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna try, but there's no drones. It's raining. Fine. I'll listen to the song. Damn it. He's persuasive. I like it. I like it. Hey, trim my drone away. Oh my God, this song's gonna drive me to drink. Oh, take my camera drone away. Don't take my camera drone away. Don't take my camera drone away. Woo!
Oh, Mama, don't take my camera drone away.